Welcome to our channel, Million Dollars Made Easy. Folks, be prepared to be amazed what we can do with the spreadsheets that we've set up. Got an individual that's 37 years old, been able to save up $54,000. He can save $300 a month, and he wants to know when he might be able to retire. Well, how in the world are you going to know these type things? Again, what we do on this channel is we use returns for the S&P 500 for the last 100 years. We include depression type returns because we want to kind of give you a worst case scenario of what might happen. We run everything up to the best case scenario. So this is one of the spreadsheets we've set up. We've set up lots of different spreadsheets. Well, let's go ahead and plug the numbers in. He's 37 years old. He's got 54,000 saved up. Of course, everybody's numbers are going to be different. This just shows you the value of this channel, that you can learn from other people's numbers, but you can also see what your numbers might be. $300 a month. Now, we're going to go ahead and run it as if he's worked till full retirement Social Security age, which would be age 67. Now, we need to know what that he's going to get at age 67. You say, how in the world can you know what you're going to get at age 67, 30 years out? Well, folks, Social Security actually gives you a calculator. It's called Social Security Quick Calculator. All you do is enter your birth date. This is just a sample page, by the way. Type in your current earnings and type in, if you want it in today's dollars. And if you put it in today's dollars, plug it in your numbers, it's going to tell you what you're going to get at each of these different ages. So we ran the numbers. This individual is going to get $1,860. Okay, we're going to look at his expenses. Right now, he spends about $72,000 a year. So that'd be $6,000 a month. In retirement, he's going to need a little bit less than that because he won't be paying Social Security or whatever. He figures he needs $5,000 a month if he was retiring today. So 30 years from now, what's $5,000? What are you going to need to have $5,000 worth of buying power? Well, 30 years from now, with a 3% inflation rate, you're going to need $12,136. This Social Security, by the way, it says right now 1860, but notice that was in today's dollars. If you project that ahead at a 2.5% COLA, which is what the COLA was in 2025. We're going to go ahead and do that for the next 30 years. That 1860 will grow to 3901. And since he's taken at age 67, he gets 100% of that. So now we've got the future projection. What his expenses are potentially going to be, what Social Security will potentially be. This is what he's going to need from his nest egg, $8,235 each month. Again, that's using these numbers right here. And folks, what we do on the channel, like we said, rerun the numbers for every single year, and including the worst possible year that could have happened in the last 100 years. And folks, that's in this column right here. And I want you to go down through here. In the worst case scenario, after 30 years, let's go ahead and go down here, 30 years, you'd have 1.286 million saved up. Isn't that incredible with these kind of amounts in 30 years? That's the power of compound interest. And folks, that's if we had the worst set of returns that we've had in the last 100 years. The worst 5% of returns, you have 1.396. The worst 10%, I always like to look at this column right here because this means that's a 90% success rate. And when you get to this amount, you'd have 1.487. The median, you're going to find for the last 100 years, you have 1.847, and the maximum is 4.467. Let's go back up here. In that case, if you had those kind of funds, started withdrawing that, you would not run out of money even in the worst case scenario. So with numbers he's given me, projecting ahead, it looks like he's going to be in fine shape. What happens if he wants to retire a little bit earlier? Remember what his question was, when might he be able to retire? Well, what if he doesn't want to work till age 67? Maybe he wants to see what his numbers might look like in age 66. Again, these are the column. This is a row we're looking at right here. This is how long your money is going to last, given the scenario. As we change the Social Security, as we change these numbers of when you retire, age 65. Now, in the worst case scenario, again, folks, that's the absolute worst in the last 100 years. He would actually be in a scenario where whatever he had grown that 27 years, and if he withdrew this kind of money, he'd be out of money in 27 years. He's pretty comfortable with that because the worst 5% of the time his money is still lasting. And this is, again, the column we like to look at. 90% of the time, this is how long your money would last. Let's go ahead and change this and see how these numbers change. Where you might retire a year earlier. Remember what happens each year that we retire earlier? This money has less time for this to grow, less time for it to compound. So age 64, you're going to see this row right here change. It's going to get less and less as we go through here. Okay, 23 years in the worst case scenario. The worst 5% of the time, your money would be out in 32 years or less. But still, in this column right here, your money is still not running out. 90% of the time, retiring at age 64, given these numbers, you would not run out of money. How about age 63? Now we have a case where 10% of the time in the last 100 years, using returns, 10% of the worst cases, your money would run out in 29 years. What happens if he actually wants to retire at age 62? Remember, he's 37, so that's 25 years from now. We go to age 62. Now we see these numbers are getting kind of problematic. In the worst case scenario, you're out of money in 13 years. Not very comfortable if you're retiring at age 62. That'd be age 75, you'd be running out of money. But again, folks, that's the worst case scenario. 5% of the time, you'd be running out of money in 20 years or less. And here's a 10% column right here. 90% of the time, your money would last at least 21 years. This is the 85% success rate, where 15% of the time, your money would run out in 28 years or less. But that's what we do. We love to run numbers for people. What might he do if he really would like to retire at age 62 and he's not comfortable with a situation where 15% of the time you might run out of money at age 28? Remember, at age 62, he'd be 90 by then. Not too bad, 85% of the time. But he wants to look at this column. He'd like to have a 90% success rate. What could he do differently besides retiring a year later, which right here, 29 years, that'd be getting him to age 92. What happens if he really wants to go at age 62? What if he saves $350 a month? Watch this. This is the row we're looking at. 21 years, he's running out of money with $350 a month. Now it's up to 25 years, about $400 a month. Up to 31 years. So that'd get him to age 93. If he went from saving $300 a month to $400 a month and wanted to retire at age 62 and was comfortable with a 90% success rate of his money lasting at least 31 years. Folks, that shows you what we can do on this channel. We can change any of these numbers that you want. And you really want to have your numbers run so you can see where you might be. But it's really interesting to see what other people's numbers look like, and you can gain a real perspective on what compounding can do for you. And don't forget to take into account what you're going to get from Social Security. Go ahead and use these calculators. Play with them all you want, and we'll go ahead and run the numbers. You just give me your current numbers, and I'll go ahead and run numbers for you. You can see how you might look. Can you retire at age 65 as opposed to age 67? In this case, with the $300 a month, no problem. Got to age 65 is when you had a worst case scenario. But you can see how these numbers work. That's what we do on this channel. We just love running numbers for people. We've made hundreds of videos running people's numbers. We look at all kinds of different financial concepts. We run numbers in more detail with these important concepts you really need to get a handle on as you prepare for your retirement. Folks, please share this channel with others. Let people know about this channel. let them know there's a channel out there actually sets up all kinds of different spreadsheets. We have probably 60 or 70 spreadsheets that we use to run numbers for people, all based on what's happened on 100 years worth of actual data. And we actually include the Depression years to give you a worst case scenario. Again, please like the video. Please share this with others. And thanks so much for watching.